What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Going into the past. When we do that, we talk about some of the greatest MCs in the game. And Busta Rhymes, was one of the biggest names in hip hop history in the early 90s. Coming up in the rap world, and just from being in the scene and having a drive to be great. But before all that, before that was Busta Rhymes, he was just an MC. Him, Charlie Brown, all these other guys opening up for like Public Enemy and doing shows for them guys and trying to get on before they decided we're going to be leaders of the new school and trying to get signed. So when Dante wanted to get them to deal with a lecturer and get them signed, Busta Rhymes had a fight with the group. It was multiple personalities. You got four guys, which, like, mainly two guys didn't have a certain vibe. And that was always Charlie Brown and Busta Rhymes. Now, C. Brown and Busta had a clash of egos because Brown always trying to be the assertive one is, look, I'm the head of leaders of the new school, and Busta, ain't nobody gonna tell Busta what to do. That's just how Busta was. I mean, he was already, it's one way when you're not making the money or you're not bringing any money in. Busta's already hustling, doing what he doing, making money on the side. He got more money than you. And you trying to boss him around and tell him what to do. Like, man, look, you got to be doing stuff for leaders, and leaders is this and leaders is that. So, naturally, Busta was out the group. So they was starting to record their own songs, and they couldn't get the deal without Busta. Dude was like, man, I want the show I saw before. Now, if the group ain't going to be that, then there ain't no deal. So they had to go back and get Busta to bring Busta back into the fold to do the deal. So once Dante decided to do the deal, Busta already had a couple of joints he was doing independently anyway. They just added those to the album. And they had a joint they did on their own. And then they worked on the album, the debut album they put out. And once that came out to be, then, it was the Native Tongue family. Everybody was into the introspective hip-hop with Jungle Brothers, the hip-hop dance movement they was doing, and the Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, who was that, Black Sheep, and leaders of the new school. But leaders had no structure. Translation, they were all over the place. They didn't know what song they were going to perform. They didn't know, what to do. When they just go out stage, rip, and get off. Tribe had structure. Everybody knew their place in Tribe. Like, everybody, there was no egos there. Like with Q-Tip and everybody else in the group, Fife and all these guys, they was like, it's all about the craft, like, they didn't care if you were greater than them or thought you were greater than them. They only cared about making great music. That was the main point. But with leaders, Busta was doing some things that, well, if you're in a group, there's certain things or behaviors that normally you would do if you're in a group. And Busta kind of, if anything, if he was guilty of, it would be that. He was looking out just for Busta at that time. Now, he wasn't putting leaders on his back and going out there trying to pull leaders with him while he going out doing stuff. He was just like, get in a fight with Charlie Brown over something, go out, find out who in the studio, go up there and try to rip and make all these appearances because he wanted to be in Tribe Called Quest. Busta wanted to be a part of Tribe, but Tribe wasn't having it. they'll be like, we ain't finna split no crews up. That'll look bad on Tribe. But Busta was like, man, the music come off better when I'm with you guys, man. He was like, you can make appearances, but we can't make you a member of Tribe Called Quest. That just gonna look bad on us. Look like we split up Liddies of the New School. So Q-Tip wasn't feeling that, but yeah, Busta was available. They didn't mind having Busta on there because Busta had the energy and the flow. He wasn't just somebody out here, oh man, my ad-libs is hot. Busta actually had rhymes. So, and still to this day, if you want a hot 16, you can get Busta. Busta will give it to you. But it's just like today, don't nobody really care. They only care about a beat. And I'm like, then why had a rap on there at all? If that's the case, just get the instrumental and knock yourself out. So I had to listen to a lot of stuff over the times, over the days and stuff, so it was quite interesting to me when I was listening to some old leader songs, and you can hear in the songs, like Busta was really coming with it, like he was competing against something, and C. Brown was getting off too, but a lot of the other guys like Dino and the rest of them, what's his name, Milo, they wasn't really on it like Busta was on it. Busta really wanted it. And then they ended up getting into fist fights, back in the days, because Busta wanted to be a star. He wanted to be up there. He got kids to feed. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand. Busta like, look, man, I done tried to stick this out as far as it can go. So this was as far as it was finna go. And that was it. It was like, we're done. After the Time album, they were split up really before that even dropped. Busta was putting himself out there, taking all the attention away from the group, and just mostly keeping it all for himself. And that was mainly C. Brown's whole thing. Is like, look, man, you ain't leaders of the new school. We all are leaders of the new school. And Busta just looked at it as C. Brown just, being C. Brown, just want to boss him and tell them he want to be in charge of leaders of the new school. When it was both parties really, being the way they was. So what happened was C. Brown fell back from the whole album, everything. He just like, I'm done. Done with the whole group. So it was like two of them, him and Milo, and them, whatever, they going out trying to get a show, and nobody would take the act. They like, look, man, you don't have your third, we ain't finna pay you for the show. It's a breach of contract. You got to at least have three people, three members of the group here, or we can't do the show. So Busta them, they couldn't get shows. All these shows got canceled. They wasn't getting paid because Brown wouldn't come and do the show. So it was only natural for Busta, like, look, man, I'm finna go ahead and move on and get on these tracks and see what's cracking and see what's hot. And then he was like, I'm going solo. So everybody decided, look, we gonna go solo, do our thing. It wasn't no real beef. Like, it wasn't no problem at that time. And all of a sudden, they got on the song with Keep It Moving with Busta on that album. But the heat was so hot at that time that you knew it was finna go to another level when back in Long Island, everybody hearing the beefs, so people that was with Brown, they coming at Busta a certain way. And then this one, it went like to a street level for a hot second. Just a hot second. hotheads, But that situation there, we gonna leave that private and in the streets, and we move back to where everybody reconciled and realized, look, man, we grown. We completely grown, and there's no reason for us to even act like we mad at one another. So they're in a good space. As far as them, they came back and did a show, I think in 2013 or something like that. And it was the first time they had performed in like 19, 20 years. But that's what was up, So everybody was appreciative, and I was glad they was able to work it out. I would love to see them come back and do something new. Just a new joint. But y'all can't compare Busta Rhymes to Gucci Mane or Jeezy. That's just an insult. For the one person who asked me, he's like, Busta is kind of like, remind me of like Gucci or Jeezy, OJ the Juice Man. I'm like, why would you put Busta in that? Have you heard a Busta Rhymes song? Busta will make your song better. That's what he did. He get on there and spit his 16. It's just that his projects didn't go to the certain upper echelon of hip-hop albums. Some of them did. The song with Janet Jackson was hot, and he could make an R&B joint, and he could make a hip-hop joint, where he can make any type of rap song you need. That's the thing about Busta's quality. He was the X Factor. On Scenario, he took over the whole song. He exploded, and the song became Busta Rhymes. His animation, his energy level, everything made him what he was. And the man is a all-around natural MC. He's natural with it. He understands the craft. He understands what every element is. Now, we'll get into him and Eminem situation later. The Busta Rhymes and Eminem's thing. We'll do that later. I should do it now, but now we'll do it later.